Right then guys, welcome to the video. Apologies about the workshop, it is a bit of a state. I do try and clean up before I bring you all in here, but you know, it's one of those. Anyhow, slightly different take on content this week. Okay, so I'll stick that there. Okay, there we go. I think I'm still having issues with the bloody lighting in this place. Anyhow, so I'm working on a Honda, so doing some fork seals on a Honda, and because it's failed the MOT. I don't think it was bad, but you know, what have you. So fork seals, well, let me describe the picture first. So in green you've got the fork tube, in red you've got the stanchion, and then internal to that you've got in blue the fork tube holder, and then basically all this is bolted together by this kind of dotted line here, or dotted outline of a bolt. Now I've done fork seals in the past, and basically all you do is kind of take the cap off the tube, you pull out the spring or what have you, and then you undo this bolt here, and then everything usually slides out. This system is slightly different because when I went to do it, I undid this bolt and the fork tube holder just span in the bore. So you needed something to kind of fix it in place. So I looked at the service manual, and there is a tool that goes down the fork tube and engages with the fork tube holder here. Now, I didn't have one, and I had a look, and the part numbers are there. So had a look, and it is quite expensive. Just get back on screen. So yeah, it's quite expensive, and I wasn't willing to pay that for possibly a one-time use, but I don't mind making one. So the first one I made was basically just kind of stuff I've got stuff I've got hanging around that I could mackle together. So I'll show you that. Right then, so this is the fork tube holder. So this goes down into the fork tube, and then the fork tube goes down into the stanchion, and then if everything's kind of bolted up through the bottom, so through that fix in there, or that threaded section there, and there's a bit of gunk in there I need to get out. And then on the top, this is where you've got your multi-point kind of fix in. So this will take or receive a hex fix in. So to get past that, because I didn't have the tool at the time, I basically just use what I got lying around. So I've got a spark plug socket, which is mounted on a bit of threaded bar. I didn't have a full length, so I had to kind of weld it in place. So I also had to what's the word? Put a through hole, that's the one. So through hole right through the socket just to receive the threaded bar, and then on this end I've just got a bit of kind of square bar which I've tapped, and then it's basically all locked together with a nut there, so it just keeps it kind of fixed on the threaded rod. So this would then go down the shock tube, and then as it comes down to the shock tube, it would engage with the shock tube holder or fork tube holder, and then you'd basically kind of lock it in place like that, and then you can undo the fixing down at the bottom here. So that worked. Yeah, it's fine. As I said, it's a bit sloppy, so it's not the best fit, but it got me through at the time. So I wanted to make something that was a bit more permanent, and you know, it's something I'm probably never going to use again. However, you know, maybe some of you guys would find this helpful, so I thought, why not, let's do the video. So this is what I could come up with. So basically it's a 24mm bolt or an M16. So started off like that, and then basically that'll engage with that. Now by all means you could just chuck another nut on there, so two nuts, lock them up, and then get a 24mm socket down the actual tube itself. I've only got an impact 24 and the diameter was just a bit too thick, so it just didn't work for me. But you may have a thinner wall socket that may just do it, but it didn't work for me. So come up with this. So I've just put this in the lathe, I've turned it down. So this section here, I turned it down, put a thread on it, and then just put one of these kind of connecting nuts over it that I can just drop a socket on, so I've got no issues there. And then I've just faced this off a bit so it's got a bit more engagement on the actual kind of fixing itself. So let's give it a go on the other one. So that was the original, well, that was the first tool I used, and that basically went all the way down. Let's press this down a bit. There you go. You can see it's locked there. And I just basically put a pair of mole grips on this double nut setup and then just undid the other end. Let's have a go with the new tool. So long extension, 17mm, and then the actual tool itself. Okay, it's nice and gauged. And then on the other end, I've just got to pop just pop. Keep turning. Okay. Okay, now. What I'll do is jam that there. So I don't have to hold it. Fucking hell. We can do it from this end. I think that's it. Yeah. Okay. Bolt. Eesh. There we have it. Fork tube holder. Done the job nicely.